This meeting is being recorded.
Hello and good afternoon, because now is 12 p.m. So, good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Aziz Nawi bin Kamal Arifin with metric number 301027. So, today I'm going to presenting my assignment 1 lab, which is for web application classes. So, firstly, I will show the main dot, which is just a file which is just for splash screen. Just call the method for the splash screen. So it doesn't relate to any UI interface, or it's just a link. So after that, we move to second file, which is splash screen.dart. This is where the screen will just loading for 3 seconds, and after that it will move to the main file or main UI. So firstly, I'm just import the file, so it can be linked to estimated, or what I call is the main menu. So I'm just call step for widget and other stuff. So inside here, I have put a navigator, which is push displacement. When the system running, it will stay on the splash screen, only stay for 3 seconds, which is for the UI to appear. And this is my UI. I got scaffold, and I make the UI to meet the top, so where I can adjust it. So for that, I have put an image. So for my image is where I put it. So for my image, I only put this. So as the splash screen, and after that I put the size box and the text, and I make it the UI to the center, so it more appealing. So after that, I'm adding a bottom navigation bar just for the color for ownership. So for the process, it's only take 3 seconds. After that, it will move to the main menu file, or main menu UI. So in this UI, which is called estimator, and the class is field estimator. So in this widget, where the application happen, or where the calculation happen. So firstly, so just using step widget, and in here I using field category as a field price inside Malaysian country, where we have RON 95, 97, and diesel. So for the I add 2 text editor controller for the calculation, and lastly field cost, which is for the cost that user need to pay for their field. So inside UI, Yeah, it's just the same. I just add bar, add field estimator, and just that we move to padding, which this padding is used for the UI doesn't reach the end of the windows or the edge of the application. So I'm using padding in just to make the text field doesn't reach to the end. So inside here, I'm using column as the top and the bottom is synchronized. And inside the column, I'm using row widget, so it can be side by side widget. I can use side by side widgets, which is like firstly I'm using a size box which has a text of distance in kilometer, and after that I'm using expanding row, since when I'm using row it doesn't appear this text field. That's why I'm using text. That's why I'm using expanding row. So inside the expanding row, I'm using only accepted a number for the text field to be calculated, and other than number, the input doesn't calculate, or we just ignore it. So this is for UI or just for design. And after that, since the row has completed, so it will move to the next column, and where I put size box just to make a gap, or just to make the row is matched between each other. So I'm using row again and expanding row just to add for car field efficiency, which is in our input, and it also only accepted number value or double value. So in here just designing, and the inside the text field where I put it fuel efficiency just to make user recognize the text field. So text box for a gap, and yeah, I also put a row again. But in here I'm using drop down button, which is used for field category, or what I would say in our input just for field price. So in here I use row 95, 97 and diesel just to duplicate Malaysian environment. So inside the row I'm using set state just to make the when we click the button it will appear the items. So after that I make a gap, and in here so after that I'm putting an elevator row. I have two elevated button, which is for calculate and for the reset button. So inside the calculate button, which is the first one here. So in here I'm just calling a method for when user press the button, it will link it to calculate field cost method, which is I will show you later. And for the reset elevated button for reset, which is I make all the instance into the default, or I will clear the text field. I'll make the field cost equal to 0, and the field category I standardize with 95 from 95. So after that, I'll make a gap, and yeah, I'm using container just to show the result, or more to I make container just to make user give the intention into the result, not the input, not the elevator button, just to the result. Yeah, that's it. So inside the container, I'm using padding and margin. So in case I'm using the container, so it make the container look in the middle, and I'm using the container using this color as a border black, and I make the container not too edgy. I make it circular and with color of gray, since I want to make it more intentionally. So inside the container, I'm putting some text field, size box, and horizon. So inside for horizon, I'm using a different color, which is blue essence, just to make it more appealing, more intentionally for user to recognize whether the field price they will buy or like this. So yeah, so this is last one, which is our method, which is calculate field cost, which is just an instant from the input to process to make the field cost to show it in container side. So in here, I'm declaring, or I'm just declaring this variable just to get the input from the text field, and I declare the price for field and cost for the field cost. Yeah, quite complicated. So when we choose the elevator button, the field price will change it to 2.6 based on Malaysian field price. So this is for diesel from 95, from 97, and for diesel. So inside everything, I'm using cost as a variable for the result. So inside here, there is the calculation, which is distance divided by efficiency of field times with price field. So it will show the result in set state, where I store it field cost. No, I'm sorry. Store cost, which is accepted into two decimal number, which is, since the Malaysian currency only accepted two decimal number, and I'll store it in field cost. So let's move on to run the program. I take a longer time since the spec of this laptop is not suitable, and I'm using two screen, so it quite taking sometimes longer than expected. Quite taking sometimes So I will explain it in my YML diagram, which is I only put assets as the photo, and yeah, that's it. Just moving to the running app side. So yeah, take longer. Right. So right now it's running the Windows and still loading. So the first thing first, the main will link it to the splash screen, which is which is splash screen will appear in maybe a few seconds. Yeah, this is my splash screen. So after that, you will move to the main menu where user can only insert number and they cannot insert a character. So for example, I take this and click the button. It still shows 0, doesn't show any value or error. So in case, so for the reset button, what will happen is sometimes I take diesel, so press the reset button, it will automatically set to default again. So where user doesn't have any issue. So let's just do the calculation one. So let's just say 100 and efficiency is around 20 kilometers for each engine. And I take 97 since the calculation is just random. And yeah, it will show 57, 50 ringgit and 70 cents. Since it only accepted two decimal numbers, those is 15 ringgit and 70 cents. So in case if only accept decimal number, I can show it. So yeah, it's like this. It's only accepted two decimal number. So that's all from me for my assignment one for web application classes. And thank you.